Welcome from Joint Space Polyclinic to our community wellness support program that we decided to start with our fabulous team in Joint Space, a team of experts and practitioners, to simply just support each other, our patients, and share our expertise in these a bit of unusual times that we are facing these days. So my name is Karo. I'm osteopath and functional medicine practitioner here in Joint Space. And I specialize in treating headaches, digestive, metabolic, and autoimmune disease. And also part of scope of my practice is dealing with patients with different kinds of anxiety, sleep deprivations, depressions, anything that influences everyday function into lower mood and lower resilience. So one of the focus in my both professional and personal life for past 25 years, I think already, is different breathwork modalities and studying breathing as a part of our physiological response, but also as our physiological foundation. Today, I will share with you very pragmatic, very practical tools on how you can access your own anatomy, your posture, your body into influencing certain kinds of physiological response. So for example, if you're facing fear, and if you're facing anxiety, if you're facing anything that comes out of it, any disruption in digestion, sleep deprivation, headaches, different pains and aches, and you're a bit lost or how to deal with it, how to deal with your own body, I hope that after today's short session, you will end up with the tools of how to go and direct your anatomy into better support of your everyday living, and you can definitely just share it very easily with your loved ones, with your family, friends, your children as well. One of the main things that we always have to remember, and I understress it in working with patients, is that our body is very smart. Our body is very resilient. We are not fragile, definitely, and we are built to withstand the storms. So literally our anatomy is designed for survival and compensations. Remembering that, also remember that any fear that comes, any anxiety that comes from the simply biological and biochemical standpoint is a natural physiological reaction that actually protects you. So fear, definitely not your foe, definitely your friend. Of course, the challenge comes when it starts a bit overwhelming us, when we start developing those mentioned compensations in the form of pains or aches, or we can not just withdraw from this stressful reaction. So I will just show you how to do it in a very, very easy way. And the easiest way to start with is our posture. But we're not talking a posture about just ergonomic sitting. No, we're talking about remembering how the nervous system travels through our body, and that with certain posture of our neck, certain posture of our chest cavity, of our abdomen cavity, we have direct access to influence our parasympathetic, our rest and digest response. So coming back from this stress sympathetic response that we created, that again is needed and is natural, but to simply come back to our more relaxed state, to decrease our stress, decrease our heart rate, and then increase our everyday physiological function for the body to be able to focus, to be able to digest, to be able to go to sleep, to be able to recover. First thing to start with always is the neck. So simply, if we go from the protraction to retraction of our neck, of our chin, and we relax the neck, and we relax those muscles here, the sternocleidomastoid muscle that we have, is the easiest way to influence the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is our literally parasympathetic, our relaxation, our digestion response. And the vagus nerve travels from the inside part of those muscles. So if we can relax a little bit those muscles with just retracting our chin, retracting our posture, then we create this perfect environment for the vagus to be functioning. And then the innervation that goes all the way to your brain, the innervation, the vascularization support also is able to travel and support your brain in those different physiological responses. And you can think that, oh, is it that simple? Yes, it is that simple. And then we know these days, and I observe it with patients on a daily, that most of the people are literally in this protraction, constant tension on the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And this is literally what will be affecting your stress response, what will be affecting your digestion, because this nerve travels all the way into your gut, into your intestine, and influences the function of your stomach, of your pancreas, of your liver, of your small intestine or your colon. So again, very simple way that actually creates a lot of resilience in your body that should be just a given in our daily life. Another thing, some of you maybe went to some like yoga classes, to like breathwork classes, and then you hear like, open your chest, open your chest. And like, what does it mean that you should open your chest? So in terms of stress response, one of the very, very important things for our adrenals. So adrenals are our endocrine organs that produce cortisol, that many of you might know. Cortisol got a bit of a bad rep these days, which is not necessarily true, because obviously we need cortisol. It's our morning drive. It's our everyday drive. Of course, everything is not okay and it's not physiological when it goes out of balance and it goes to the extremes, right? Of course, these days we want a little bit less stress, a little bit less cortisol. Probably we all have a little bit too much of it. So we want to help our adrenals to decrease the levels of testosterone and produce more testosterone. So testosterone, both for men and women, doesn't matter, is a hormone of our courage, helps our dopaminergic system. It helps to actually decrease the fear response from our amygdala in our brain. So if we open our chest, and especially we open this area at the lower ribs, we help the adrenals that are more in the back, because adrenals sit on our kidneys. We actually help to produce more testosterone, more courage. It's something that I've been doing always before, like the tough exams, you know, to like bring myself like this more confidence and courage, is literally going into like even this hyper extension to decrease this cortisol and to be, you know, ready, steady, and going. So even if you're facing on a daily basis that, okay, stress overwhelms you a little bit too much, and often what we do is closing our posture, we want to just like sit and hide, actually face it, open your chest, open your adrenals, and then literally your physiology will be responding in a way to decrease this fear response. Another thing which is super important that we have to remember, that body needs movement. No matter if you're in pain, if you face any kind of anxiety, if you face any kind of stress, I'm not talking straight away of like high intensity training movement. No, I'm talking of moving and mobility of the whole body, of the fascia. So fascia is the tissue that surrounds literally every system in our body. And also when it comes to more musculoskeletal system, we have the superficial and deep fascia layers that are very highly innervated, very high in vascularization as well. And then if we we get stuck in this like freeze mode and we're not moving, we're not supporting with everyday movement, whether it's walking. Yeah, we remember that gait, actually, our walking is already a mobility through the whole body, or just doing simple rotations, doing any kind of side bend. So helping this whole body fascia move, it will already help also this innervation and vascularization and metabolizing of this fear response. Because very often, and what happens now in general, a part of the situation that we are facing for the past week, but why we have so many patients coming with these pains and aches in the body, one of the big contributors are high stress levels, the prolonged staying in a stress response. And then it actually makes the fascia stiffen more and more. So the fascia has to, when it moves, it produces the fluid. So it produces the fluid that helps, as I mentioned, metabolizing those fear biochemistry response. So even if you don't feel like very intense workout, you don't have to. Everyone has a different capacity. Everyone has different energy levels overall, but just not taking away the movement. So even for the people who just stay home because this is how they feel it's better for them, which is totally okay, just move at home. Just something that I very often recommend to patients, and we will have those things, the exercise on our upcoming program for the next weeks with other of my colleagues, just doing simple mobility exercise where you actually move this fascia through your whole body will be a game changer for your body to just being able to get rid of this metabolite waste that comes with the fear. Because one of the main things that we have to remember from the psycho-emotional standpoint, that psycho-emotional response that we hold is just a biochemical cocktail that is created in our body in certain ways. So mentioning the fascia and the movement and how innervated it is, one of the very important things to decrease your stress levels and help the fascia metabolizing the stress that you're going through is actually hugging. So one, we know obviously that the contact with like other being, no matter if it's human or it's a pet, will help also with decreasing the cortisol, increasing the oxytocin, so our happiness response, our happiness hormone, and will just reduce the tension, overall tension on the fascia. And sometimes, even if it's not with the other being, even strong hug on your own body is something that, again, from the purely biological standpoint, is super helpful to decrease the anxiety, the fear response. So after hugging strongly yourself, you open up your adrenals, you increase your testosterone, you increase your courage and your confidence. And this is how you help your body to recover, to decrease the heart rate. And of course, if we help with decreasing the heart rate, we're able to recover better throughout the night. And again, as much as those things sound very, very simple, it's about the small things that we do throughout the day. It's not, this 1 hour that you dedicated for like your exercise, your meditation, your breath work, whatever you do, that will always be very, very helpful, obviously. But then you carry on with your life. So if you carry on in this posture, in protraction, you're constantly inclining your bodily systems, your nervous system, your fascial system, your lymphatic system to be stuck in the sympathetic, in the fight, flight, or freeze response. And then it obviously will be blocking your recovery or your digestion. And this is what we don't want. The last easiest thing to do to decrease the stress response, which I always recommend to do with the kids, because usually they just love it. And my patients' feedback is that they join and they love it. So there is this, one of the pranayamas, so the breathing techniques from the yogic background, is called Brahmari pranayama. So it's a B breath, which uses vibration. What we know about vagus nerve and the parasympathetic response and decreasing the stress levels is that the vagus nerve, the nerve that I emphasized before, loves the vibration. So any kind of, either it's breath work with Brahmari pranayama, with B breath, which is literally you just put your fingers in your ears, you close your ears, and you take the inhale, and on exhale you just make the longest vibration possible. So every exhale you make a little hum, like a humming, like a bee frequency, which will be helping with this inner vibration for your vagus nerve. But anything that creates this vibration in the body, for example, singing or just like humming throughout the day, in your everyday function, when you prepare the food, when you drive in the car, it will actually help your nervous system to come back from this overall a little bit too high stress that surrounds us. Yeah, so these are some first little steps and hints that I hope you're going to use, and I hope you're going to understand now your body's capacity a little bit better, because remember that before you even get into some like medication to decrease your stress and help you recover, or even supplements, which again, if they are needed and they can help, I always say to patients, whatever works that makes you feel better, it's a good choice. At the same time, the whole pharmacy is actually within us. So the nature created a huge abundance of pharmacy, the medication, the biology response that we hold within our bodies. And those little things that I mentioned today, and just understanding how they work, creates the space for the body to utilize this pharmacy that we're holding within ourselves. So I hope that you're staying safe and you're staying happy and joyful as much as possible, because obviously it's easy to just dwell into stress, and at the same time, if we can, just focus a little bit on our bodies, a little bit of this confidence and the strength and the resilience that our body carry on a daily basis, it will just make yours and everyone's around life a little bit easier. As I truly believe that the health of the overall, of the society, of the community starts with us, starts with individuals. So if we can create a little bit more health and balance and the right response within ourselves, we can definitely create more of the health and joy and resilience in the community around. So thank you for today. Sessions with me will be held every Monday. So we will continue next week, probably more on the breathwork side, and join also my colleagues. And thank you. Stay safe.